Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to Art. We are in April. I cannot believe the time is flying by, but I love April. I love springtime. I love seeing the flowers starting to bloom, and it gave me all sorts of ideas. Also, I know Earth Day is coming up, so I thought it would be a fun couple art projects in April to explore recycled materials and make things that maybe look like the beauty of nature. So today's project, we're going to be using newsprint. Now, newsprint is basically the same type of paper that they print newspapers on. So if you're at home and you don't have plain newsprint, use a piece of newspaper if you have it. And if we're in school, our newsprint sometimes is yellow because I buy the kind that's yellow just to make it a bit brighter. Okay? So here is what we're going to do. We're going to take our piece of newsprint. Oops, I dropped mine. I'll pick it up later. Let me move you down. And I want you to fold it in half the long way. Now, if your paper is a little bit smaller than mine, still follow my directions. I just happen to be working in my art studio, so my paper is a little bit longer. But still fold it so it's nice and long. I think some kids call this a hot dog fold. Okay? And what I want you to do is, using a pair of scissors, on the folded side, you always hear me say that, the folded side, you're going to make little tiny cuts almost all the way down. You can see on mine here, I left about that much room. Okay? So let me keep cutting, and I'll show you when I'm done. I'll speed this up so you can see. Okay? Keep them even and keep them neat. Let me move you up a little bit here. Okay? The neater you do it, the better your project, okay? And also, the more professional it will look. Whew, I'm done. But when I'm done, you can see it was worth it. Fun, right? And now I'm going to take a glue stick, or I'm going to use my wet glue. That works fine too. I want to glue the paper shut here. There. Okay? So when I'm done, my paper is glued shut, and I have what looks like a hula skirt. So what I want you to do is put a little bit of glue at the bottom, and you're going to take a stick, and I'm going to give you the stick. I'm in my studio, so I'm using just a wooden stick, but yours may look like a stick from outside. I think it'll actually look more natural because we're going to be creating a beautiful flower. Watch how cool this is. You take your stick, you put it at the end, and very neatly and very carefully, tightly roll it up. Okay, it's important to keep it even and neat. You don't want it to spin down your stick. I know that can happen, right? You want to make sure you're mushing it as you go. And when you get to the other end, you're going to have all the beautiful petals of the flower. So I'm just going to keep going. All right, I'm almost there. And I made it. And now I'm going to give it a good squeeze and really press that together, because newsprint is very thin and you want it to really suck up all that glue. Do you see how I did that? Turned it to a nice point. So now what you have to do is you have to kind of sculpt it a bit. So you can start pulling some of the petals down, like that, and pay attention to the detail, okay? I like to kind of loosen it up a little bit. Look how beautiful that is already. But I can start to go in and loosen up some of those bended parts to kind of soften it and make it look a little more natural, okay? And because you're using that yellow paper in class, it'll look like real petals. Now, if you're working from home, you can do this with a piece of magazine, or like I said, a piece of newspaper. It'll be beautiful. And I have one that I already made. I think that looks good. Here it is. And you can see that I can start to make a beautiful collection of flowers. Isn't that beautiful? So give it a try. Let's see if you too can make the beautiful spring flower out of recycled paper. And next week, we will work on flower number 2. Okay? Have a great time creating, and I'll see you next week. Bye, boys and girls.